Before you scroll, pause for a moment, because what's coming through right now is not random. Lana is feeling a very strong, protective energy around you, and the message wants your attention. Two people have been doing a lot of digging on you, quietly, secretly, thinking you would never sense it. They've been asking questions, watching from a distance, trying to piece together your life, your moves, your energy. But here's the part that changes everything. You're safe, completely protected. And once you hear why, it may finally explain the strange feelings, the sudden shifts, and the moments where you felt watched without proof. As I connect into your energy, 3 cards step forward very clearly. The High Priestess, the Seven of Swords, and the Guardian Angel. These cards don't appear lightly. They come when hidden actions are exposed, when truth rises from silence, and when divine protection steps in quietly but powerfully. There's a reason your intuition has been alert lately. There's a reason you felt guided to pull back, observe, or stay quiet. Your soul already knew something was happening behind the scenes. What's fascinating is that the people digging into you underestimated one thing: your spiritual shielding. They thought knowledge would give them control. They thought information would give them power. But instead, every step they took only activated stronger protection around you. The universe did not miss a single intention. Angels did not miss a single whisper. And Lana wants you to know, this situation is already being handled in ways you may not yet see. Stay with me, because once we go deeper, you'll understand who these people really are, why they were watching you, and why their actions can no longer touch your life. The High Priestess steps forward quietly, but her presence is impossible to ignore. She doesn't speak loudly. She doesn't chase attention, yet she knows everything. In this message, her energy is deeply connected to what has been happening around you. When 2 people were doing a lot of digging on you, this card reveals that you sensed it before you ever had proof. You felt it in your body, in your emotions, in those moments where something just felt off. The High Priestess confirms that your intuition has been switched on for a long time, even when you doubted yourself or tried to rationalize what you were feeling. This card tells me that much of what was happening was hidden. Conversations behind closed doors, quiet observations, subtle questions asked about you without your knowledge. These people didn't confront you directly because they knew you would see straight through them. Instead, they tried to gather information from the shadows. But the High Priestess rules the unseen, and she was already aware. Nothing stays hidden from her for long, and nothing stays hidden from someone who carries her energy within them. The High Priestess also shows that you were divinely guided to stay silent. You may have noticed yourself pulling back, sharing less, trusting fewer people, or becoming more private without fully understanding why. This wasn't fear. This was protection. Your soul knew that not everyone needed access to you, your plans, or your personal life. While others were trying to look into you, you were being guided to close certain doors without making a scene. What's powerful here is that this card doesn't indicate danger in the way the mind might imagine. Instead, it speaks of safety through awareness. You are safe because you didn't expose yourself. You were safe because you listened to the quiet voice inside you rather than reacting emotionally. The High Priestess doesn't fight. She observes, and through observation, she stays one step ahead of any hidden intentions. This card also reveals that these people underestimated you deeply. They saw the surface version of you and assumed that was all there was. They didn't realize how spiritually protected you are or how deeply connected you are to higher guidance. While they were searching for answers about you, the universe was already filtering what they were allowed to see. Certain truths about you were blocked from them entirely. They could sense your strength, but they could not access your core. The High Priestess tells me that secrets are not meant to stay secrets forever. Information has a way of surfacing when the time is right. You don't need to expose anyone or confront anything directly. Truth reveals itself naturally. Signs, confirmations, and sudden clarity will come to you without effort. You may already be noticing moments where things suddenly make sense, where pieces fall into place, or where someone accidentally reveals more than they intended. There is also a strong message here about trust. Trust in your inner knowing. Trust that if something felt strange, it wasn't imagined. Trust that your intuition was protecting you long before your conscious mind caught up. The High Priestess encourages you not to question your sensitivity. Your awareness is a gift, not a weakness. It's the reason you remained untouched by whatever was being planned or investigated. Another important message from this card is discretion. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove your innocence, your worth, or your intentions. Silence is powerful when it's guided. The more you stay aligned with your inner voice, the less power others have over you. The High Priestess reminds you that peace comes from knowing, not from reacting. At the heart of this card is reassurance. You are safe because you are protected spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. Whatever curiosity or digging was happening around you has already lost momentum. The energy has shifted. The focus has moved away from you because your boundaries, both seen and unseen, are strong. The High Priestess leaves you with this final feeling: calm, clarity, and quiet confidence. You don't need to look over your shoulder. You don't need to worry about what others know or think they know. What is meant for you remains untouched, and what is not meant for you cannot reach you. Stay grounded, stay observant, and most importantly, keep trusting that inner voice. It has never led you wrong. The Seven of Swords comes in with a very different energy, and it immediately shifts the atmosphere of this message. Where the High Priestess was quiet and observant, this card reveals the actions that were taking place behind the scenes. In the context of this topic, the Seven of Swords clearly speaks of two people who were not being upfront with you. Their interest in you wasn't innocent curiosity. It was calculated, indirect, and intentionally hidden. This card shows sneaking, watching, and trying to gather information without being noticed. What stands out most is that these people didn't want you to know they were looking into you. They may have smiled in your presence or stayed completely distant, but either way, their real intentions were concealed. The Seven of Swords tells me they were asking questions about you through other people, checking your social presence, or trying to understand your moves without approaching you directly. There was a sense of strategy here, as if they believed knowledge would give them an advantage. However, this card also carries a powerful truth. Deception rarely goes as planned. The Seven of Swords often exposes the very people who think they are being clever. While they believed they were moving quietly, their energy was loud on a spiritual level. You may have felt sudden unease, confusion, or even a strange sense of being misunderstood. That wasn't paranoia. That was your energy reacting to dishonesty around you. This card shows that their actions were driven by insecurity and comparison. They were trying to figure out who you are because they didn't feel secure in who they are. There's a strong sense here that they felt threatened by your presence, your growth, or the attention you receive. Instead of addressing this honestly, they chose the indirect route. The Seven of Swords reveals a lack of courage more than a lack of morality. What's important to understand is that their digging did not give them the clarity they hoped for. This card often indicates incomplete information. They may have gathered pieces, but not the full picture. And because of that, any conclusions they reached were flawed. You were never fully exposed. Key parts of your life, your plans, and your inner world remained hidden from them. This is where your safety comes in. The Seven of Swords also suggests that the universe was actively removing power from this situation. Plans made in secrecy tend to collapse under their own weight. These individuals may already be experiencing confusion, miscommunication, or second thoughts. Something they thought they understood about you no longer makes sense. The energy of this card shows retreat, someone quietly stepping back, realizing they've gone too far or that the effort isn't worth it. Another message from this card is about boundaries. You were protected because you didn't overshare. Even if you weren't consciously trying to be guarded, you naturally kept certain things to yourself. The Seven of Swords confirms that this was necessary. Not everyone around you needed to know your next move, your struggles, or your intentions. By staying selective, you closed the door on potential manipulation. There's also a warning here, but it's gentle and empowering. The card isn't asking you to live in fear. It's asking you to stay aware. Trust actions more than words. Pay attention to who asks too many questions without offering sincerity in return. Awareness doesn't mean confrontation. Sometimes the strongest response is quiet distance. Despite the sneaky energy of this card, the overall message is reassuring. You are safe because the truth is already surfacing. What was done in secret is losing its grip. The Seven of Swords often appears when dishonesty is on its way out, not when it's at its strongest. You are no longer the target of hidden strategies. This card closes with a sense of relief. You don't need to chase clarity or demand explanations. The situation is unraveling on its own. Whatever they were trying to take, information, control, understanding, they didn't succeed. You remain protected, grounded, and one step ahead, simply by staying true to yourself and trusting your instincts. The guardian angel appears now as the final and most comforting energy in this message, and it completely changes the tone of the story. Where there was secrecy, watching, and hidden intentions before, this card brings reassurance, protection, and divine intervention. In relation to this topic, the guardian angel makes one thing very clear. You were never alone in this situation. Even when you didn't know what was happening, even when things felt strange or unsettling, there was a higher presence standing between you and anything that could harm you. This card tells me that the moment those two people began digging into your life, protection was activated around you. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly and effectively. The guardian angel works behind the scenes, redirecting energy, blocking access, and softening situations before they can turn into problems. That's why nothing escalated. That's why no direct confrontation occurred. That's why you came out of this untouched. What could have become stressful or invasive simply lost its power. There is a strong sense here that you were being watched over during moments when you felt vulnerable. Times when you doubted yourself, questioned your safety, or wondered why certain things felt off. The guardian angel reassures you that those feelings were not meant to scare you, but to guide you. You were gently nudged away from certain people, conversations, or environments without fully understanding why at the time. Now, looking back, it starts to make sense. This card also speaks of energetic shielding. While others were trying to understand you, your true essence was being protected. They could not see your heart clearly. They could not access your intentions or your future. Any negative curiosity, jealousy, or ill intention simply couldn't pass through the protective layer around you. This is why you may notice that rumors didn't stick, assumptions fell apart, or misunderstandings dissolved before causing damage. The guardian angel also brings a message of comfort for your nervous system. You can finally relax. You don't need to stay on high alert anymore. The situation has passed its peak. Whatever curiosity or digging was happening has been neutralized. The energy around you is calmer now, lighter. You may even feel a subtle sense of peace returning, as if a weight you didn't realize you were carrying is quietly lifted. Another important message from this card is trust in divine timing. You weren't meant to know everything as it happened. If you had, it might have caused unnecessary stress or fear. Instead, you were protected through not knowing. The guardian angel filtered what reached your awareness and what didn't. You were shown only what you could handle, only what was useful for your growth. This card also emphasizes that protection doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like delays, distractions, or sudden changes of plan. Moments where things didn't go as expected may actually have been moments where harm was avoided. Conversations that never happened, meetings that fell through, or connections that faded were not losses. They were redirections. The guardian angel encourages you to acknowledge your strength. You didn't survive this because you were weak or unaware. You survived it because you are aligned. Your energy attracts protection because you move with sincerity and truth. When your intentions are clean, the universe steps in to defend you. There is also a reminder here to stay connected to gratitude, not out of fear, but out of recognition. Thank the moments of calm. Thank the peace that surrounds you now. Gratitude strengthens the protective energy around you and keeps your path clear. As this card closes the message, it leaves you with deep reassurance. You are safe now, and you were safe all along. Whatever was hidden has been handled. Whatever was meant to harm you never reached you. Move forward with confidence, knowing that you are guided, watched over, and protected in ways far greater than you can see. When all three of these energies come together, they tell a powerful and deeply reassuring story about what truly happened behind the scenes and why you are safe now. This is not a message of fear, but one of awareness, protection, and quiet victory. The High Priestess, the Seven of Swords, and the Guardian Angel together reveal a timeline, first intuition, then hidden actions, and finally divine intervention. Nothing in this situation was random, and nothing got out of control. It begins with the High Priestess, the moment your soul sensed something before your mind could explain it. You may remember feeling subtle shifts, a strange heaviness, sudden caution, or an unexplainable urge to pull back. You didn't have facts, names, or proof, but something within you was alert. That was your inner knowing activating. The High Priestess shows that you were already protected at the level of awareness. Your intuition picked up on energies moving around you quietly. You weren't meant to confront anything or expose anyone. You were meant to notice, feel, and stay inwardly guided. Then comes the Seven of Swords, revealing what was actually happening. Two people were indeed doing a lot of digging on you. Not openly, not honestly, but in ways that avoided direct contact. They watched, asked questions, made assumptions, and tried to gather information without you realizing. Their curiosity wasn't pure. It was mixed with insecurity, comparison, and a desire to understand you in order to feel more in control. They thought if they knew more about you, they could predict you, influence you, or protect themselves from whatever you represent in their lives. But this is where the story shifts. The Seven of Swords does not represent success for those who act in secrecy. It represents flawed plans and incomplete truth. Whatever they gathered was fragmented. They never saw the full picture of who you are. They couldn't access your heart, your intentions, or your future. The more they tried to understand you from the outside, the more confused they became. Their digging didn't bring clarity. It brought uncertainty. And slowly, quietly, their focus began to unravel. While this was happening, the guardian angel was already at work. This is the most important part of the message. Protection was not something that came later. It was present the entire time. The moment curiosity turned into hidden observation, a protective barrier formed around you. Access was limited. Energy was redirected. Situations were softened before they could become harmful. That's why nothing escalated. That's why no confrontation, accusation, or invasion ever fully reached you. The guardian angel explains why you remain calm even when things felt strange. Why stress never fully took over. Why certain connections faded without drama. You were being guided away from what didn't serve you, without needing to fight or defend yourself. You were protected through silence, distance, and divine timing. Even moments that felt confusing or delayed were acts of protection in disguise. Together, these three cards reveal that you were always one step ahead, not because you planned it, but because you listened inwardly. The High Priestess kept you aware. The Seven of Swords exposed dishonesty without you needing to chase truth. And the guardian angel ensured that nothing could truly touch you. This combination shows spiritual maturity. You didn't react emotionally. You didn't overshare. You didn't seek validation. And because of that, you stayed safe. There's also a karmic balance here. Those who tried to look into you are now left with unanswered questions. The energy has turned back on them. They may feel uneasy, unsure, or embarrassed about how much effort they put into something that never gave them what they wanted. Meanwhile, you move forward lighter, clearer, and more protected than before. This message is not asking you to stay guarded forever. It's telling you that the phase has passed. The danger was never physical. It was energetic, and the energy has already been neutralized. What remains is peace, awareness, and trust in yourself. You don't need to look back. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to fear what others know or think they know. The combined message of these three cards ends with deep reassurance. You were watched, but you were also watched over. You were observed, but you were never exposed. What was meant to stay private remains sacred. What was meant to leave your life did so quietly. And what is meant for you continues untouched, protected, and guided. You are safe, not by chance, but by alignment.